The 2021 NFL football season is just right around the corner, and to be honest with you guys, I don't think it's too early to talk about division winners, hell, even playoff predictions.
So in this video, us the SteelTwins will be giving you guys our division ranking predictions as well as teams that could make the playoffs.
So let's get into it.
So if you guys watched our last video where we were discussing bold predictions for the Steelers' upcoming season, we mentioned that our next video would have been the 53-man roster regarding the Steelers, our prediction for that. But due to the Steelers finally announcing their training camp schedule for this year at Heinz Field, that video is going to be pushed back 1 week for next week, and thus we're going to come out with this video for this week. So we hope you guys enjoy. Let's get right into it, man. We're going to start with, should we start with AFC or NFC?
Let's do the NFC.
We're going to start with the NFC. We're going to start with the NFC North, because why not? Because the talk of the town around the league is Aaron Rodgers. What is going to happen with Aaron Rodgers? What's going to happen with the Green Bay Packers, man?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Is he going to show up week one? After his golf stuff he's doing, I haven't kept track. I've just seen interviews and stuff they've been talking about on social media, but
I mean, nothing's made Aaron Rodgers happy this offseason.
No.
I can't see anything else that's going to make him say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna come and play week one. That's what I'm going to do.
But in the next coming weeks, they're going to have to get in talks because the season's just around the corner. I don't know what's going to happen with the Packers. Our prediction was based off of more so if A-Rod does or doesn't play.
Or show up.
Or maybe he shows up late in the season. There's talks he might even opt out this year. Because that's still an option.
That is an option.
Around the league. So that's a possible option. But our NFC North predictions is still the Packers at number 1, but with a record of 9-8. Just because of the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers playing. And honestly, a little bit towards their defense and Matt LaFleur. Because, yeah, Matt LaFleur has led his team to not even the playoffs, the NFC Championship game 2 straight years. But was that Aaron Rodgers? Or was that Matt LaFleur, being an intelligent head coach? Depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers, that's really going to tell a lot about the type of coach Matt LaFleur is this year.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But also, again, their defense, because they have a good pass rush. They got the Smith Bros, all that, Kenny Clark, all that, right? Rashawn Gary, they drafted in the first round a few years back. So they got a good D-line, good front seven. It's just more so still the secondary is still a question mark.
Outside of, I'd say, J.R. Alexander.
Who is arguably the best corner in the league.
Yeah, they brought back Kevin King. Why, I have no idea. I know they drafted Tyson Campbell, I think he was their first-round pick.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't name any other defensive back, specifically corner. I know their safeties are real talented. They still got, what's his name, Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos.
Right.
They got a really decent-looking secondary. It's just they still have holes there.
But the rest of the secondary is still suspect outside of the obvious. And again, the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers, man.
Not only that, Jordan Love. Because if A-Rod's not playing, Jordan Love's obviously starting. They traded up last year's draft to get this guy.
Which also, honestly, when you think about it, man, how long has this Aaron Rodgers beef been stemming? To the point they traded up to draft Jordan Love, a quarterback, last year. How long has this beef been going on between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers front office? Makes you really wonder.
It really does.
So,
I mean, A-Rod said, he loves the coaches, he loves the teammates. It's just the people up top that, that he's not in good talks with.
Yeah, seriously.
At all.
But,
and again, I don't see A-Rod, coming in and being able to be in, in good deeds with them. Or whatever the term is.
You're talking about the relationship, the chemistry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with the head office, not the teammates. Because he mentioned he loves the teammates, the coach. He loves them. Not LaFleur, them all. Not the top guys.
Right.
Not the suit and ties.
Exactly.
Not them.
Now, they kept Aaron Jones this past year, which I think was a big add-on. Even though they could have assigned Jamal Williams for cheap and still would have been just fine. But Aaron Jones is one of the better backs in the league and has changed that rushing attack for the Packers drastically. So they got him back. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. He had 17 touchdowns last year and still missed, 3 or 4 games? Dude is insane. He's one of the better receivers in the league, arguably number 1. You can make a serious case for that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt indeed. But the Packers, we have them going 9-8 and still winning the NFC North division. Now, in second place is the Minnesota Vikings at 8-9.
Yes. The Vikings, man, it's their offense, obviously, is still pretty solid. It's actually, I wouldn't even say solid. It's damn good.
No, it's great. It's a great offense.
Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins is still a little suspect, but, Justin Jefferson had over 1,300 yards last year, and Adam Thielen's still a great number 2/number 1. However farther Justin Jefferson comes this year, Thielen might become the number 2, but, they still got great targets, of course. Irv Smith, right? So, O-line's pretty solid, I'd say. The defense, man, corners are suspect. Harrison Smith is still good. The pass rush is definitely suspect. They're getting Danielle Hunter back, but, outside of that, do they really have any sufficient edge rushers?
Not that really comes off the top of my head, just Danielle Hunter. I believe they brought back Sheldon Richardson back, I think they did, for the defensive tackle position.
Of course.
And I know they have Patrick Peterson as their new number 1, but he hasn't really been the Patrick Peterson of old.
No.
Not in a while. Now, going to Minnesota could very well be a new lease on life, and going up against receivers like Thielen and Jefferson and Cam could really help Peterson a lot.
Oh, for sure.
But, again, he's aging, Do you really want a aging cornerback as your number 1?
Right.
I can't even think who their number 2 is, to be honest.
No. So, the Vikings with I'd say a solid 8-9 record for now, and then they obviously boost up the defense and maybe the O-line in years later.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
In third place comes the Chicago Bears at 5-12 in what I believe will be Matt Nagy's final year.
Last year, I believe the Bears, when they started 5-1, they were actually one of the teams that beat the Buccaneers last year. Believe it or not, Nick Foles beat Tom Brady
again,
and they fell down. They fell apart. They went 8-8. They barely made the playoffs, and the only reason that I think they made the playoffs was because they actually gave their offensive coordinator the playbook. They had him call the shots. David Montgomery showed the type of running back he was. Mitchell Trubisky actually played pretty decently. They got, I think, over 30 points in a 3-game win streak, which got them 8 wins, and which was able to help them even make the playoffs. But obviously they lost against the Saints, but
now the playbook is back in the hands of Matt Nagy. So that means for all you fantasy owners out there for David Montgomery, it's not looking too good. It's not looking good at all. And their quarterback situation, of course, you're talking Justin Fields, who's not going to start day 1 because Nagy's already said Sam Darnold, God, it's the same thing. They all look the same. Andy Dalton is going to be the starter. But let's not forget who they have at number 2 on the bench paying all that money. Nick Foles.
Yeah.
So how early is Justin Fields actually going to be able to see the field? We don't know.
Or does he even see the field at all, really, when Nagy pretty much calling the shots?
Now, of course, I like that offense if Fields is in there. Montgomery, when he's used properly, we saw the potential he had last year. Allen Robinson is so great.
He's so underrated.
Unfortunate he's had so many mediocre quarterbacks to deal with his whole career, going back to the Jags.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney's going to be nice. I think they drafted Daz Newsome in the draft. Cole Kmet coming into his second year. He's going to have to bounce up this year, taking the place of Jimmy Graham. So, I mean, I like that Bears offense. I like the O-line a little bit. They drafted Tevin Jenkins in the second round, complete steal. Mm-hmm. But Matt Nagy, at head coach, at play calling is not ideal. And with the quarterback situation and the depth chart, I don't think Fields is going to see time so early.
No, I definitely don't think so.
Now, that defense, of course, we all know. It's been the past few years, ever since they traded for Mack, that defense has held them and carried them for so long.
Yeah, they got a lot of great players on the defense. Eddie Goldman, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. They got Raquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, Robert Quinn. They got a lot of great, talented pass rushers and linebackers. Even their defensive backs are nice, too. Eddie Jackson definitely comes off the top of my head when it comes to that secondary. He's a beast. One of the best safeties in the league, in my honest opinion. They got some young corners in Jalen Johnson, who's now going to have to be the number 1 since Kyle Fuller, I think...
Yeah, he left to the Broncos.
Yeah, he signed to the Broncos, and they got a veteran in Desmond Trufant who could be a very solid number 2.
Yeah,
but I just don't see the Bears really doing much. And quite honestly, I can see Matt Nagy pretty much being the downfall for the Bears. I think he's really going to hold that offense down. Because you saw how that was last year, too.
Not only that, but, of course, again, the quarterback situation. It's not looking too promising for the Bears, man.
No, it's not. And their schedule, too.
Until Fields is in there with a competent coordinator or at least play caller, I don't see the Bears going too far. So that's why we give them a 5-12 record. And there's only so much that defense can do for you.
Yeah, and in last place in the NFC North is the Detroit Lions at 3-14.
Yeah.
I don't see much from the Detroit Lions.
No, they swapped quarterbacks. They traded Stafford for Goff, and they have no receivers. Their number one receiver, when I look at the roster, is probably Tyrell Williams, who didn't play last year.
No, he didn't.
But if I'm talking complete targets, it's gonna have to be T.J. Hawkinson.
Oh yeah.
Now that run game, on the other hand, looks great.
Yeah, they're gonna have to depend on that a lot.
DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams they picked up in free agency. It should be a damn good rushing game.
Jared Goff being the quarterback with pretty much no targets outside of one, and Hawkinson, I don't see much.
But I think a down year for the Lions and Campbell's first year with all the capital they got from the
Stafford trade, that could be a blessing in disguise. It really could, because they can go in the next year and get a true future quarterback and use all the other cap to pretty much help the team around.
So, yeah, pretty much. So that's the NFC North right there. Now we're going to move to the NFC South. Buccaneers, 15-2. Enough said. Saints in second place with 9-8. Drew Brees retired. Even through his injuries and pretty mediocre play last year, they still went, I believe, 12-4.
They actually won the NFC South division last year.
Yeah.
The Bucs were second place. Now the Saints fall down to 2 at 9-8. With I'm gonna predict Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback.
I mean, it's gonna have to be. Taysom Hill is not a quarterback. He is a Swiss Army knife. And what's his name? Sean Payton loves that. That's why he's used him in that role for so many years now. And that needs to be his primary role. Obviously, you can have Winston come out on the sideline or motion out wide and put Hill in at quarterback on Wildcats or on quarterback reads or options and stuff like that. Because that's what he's best for.
Yeah, of course. Use those guys in their best traits. Because you shouldn't have to rely on Taysom Hill to be your next franchise quarterback.
No.
Because he's not a franchise quarterback.
As for receivers, as for targets, Michael Thomas, if he can stay healthy, he's their only really good target. Adam Trautman's gonna have to step up in his I believe it's his second year. Of course, we all know Alvin Kamara is just a complete playmaker. He's going to earn his bag again this year, as he's going to have to be relied on a lot.
Yeah, especially behind the Saints' offensive line, which is, quite honestly, in my opinion, one of the best in the league.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great offensive line.
Especially since they just recently extended Ramczyk and actually made him the highest paid tackle in the league, I believe.
And rightfully so. The guy's a monster. And their defense still has a lot of potential, too. They still got Cameron Jordan. I still think Marcus Davenport could really break out. I think he still has a lot of potential. You still got Demario Davis leading the linebacker core at his age. You still got their cornerback, number one. Oh, he got
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yes, thank you. He got in trouble this offseason, though. I think it was some sort of domestic violence case or something along the lines like that. If he can get that settled, get his head back into the game, he can definitely help him a lot.
Right. But, of course, they drafted Peyton Turner in the first round, which would ideally and obviously boost up the D-line a little bit more as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the Saints defense is still pretty solid. Still very talented. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Williams, all that.
Yeah, it just matters on how the quarterback play goes.
But that's where our 9-8 record prediction comes into play. Peyton is still a good enough coach to get a winning record. Whether it's the playoffs, that'll be determined. But it's more so, again, the quarterback play. Can Winston limit the mistakes in the turnovers? If they start Hill, is he a true capable quarterback? Personally, I don't think so.
No, neither
which
do
is
I.
why I think Winston's going to be a number one quarterback. But again, his turnovers.
And his decision-making, man, he's got to be smart. He's got the weapons to succeed, like he did with Tampa Bay.
Right.
But again, his decision-making sucked in Tampa Bay.
Yes, and that's...
Now he's got to be smarter in New Orleans.
Yes. Now, I know if there's Saints fans watching this, I know you guys are saying we dealt with the same situation last year when Drew Brees was hurt and when he had mediocre play style, and we didn't even have Michael Thomas last year. Now we're getting them back. These guys are still in their system. I get that. I just think now all that weight is on the quarterback's shoulders full time this year. And I don't know if Winston can handle the pressure.
Right, even with him sitting behind Drew Brees last year.
Yeah. And, hey, I still like Winston. I really still like Winston. I think he still has that first-round grade potential. Number 1 overall, I don't know about that. But first-round grade, I think he still got it in there. And maybe with the LASIK eye surgery, believe me, I'm blind as hell. I can't read nothing that's on the notes. I swear to God.
Yeah, read 4th place.
What?
You can't read that? Are you serious?
No.
I can see perfectly
No.
fine.
So, believe me.
How blind are you?
Very. I guess I can understand why Winston made a lot of bad reads and decisions on the field. You can't see nothing. Believe me, I am blind. So maybe with the LASIK eye surgery, that's going to improve him a lot. Because believe me, if coming from a fellow blind person, believe me, I think the LASIK eye surgery is going to make a difference.
It might.
But I still think, I don't know, maybe the pressure on Winston is still going to be felt. But in 3rd place comes the Panthers. 9-8 as well. The reason why the Saints had the 2nd place over the Panthers, even though they have the same record, is because of a better division record that the Saints had over the Panthers.
Yeah, but the Panthers at 9-8, it's something that I can really see from the Panthers. When I looked at this Panthers team, I see a lot of talent. I like them a lot this year.
Yes, I do. Matt Rule coming to his 2nd year. He was 5-11 last year, but improved a lot, especially on offense through the draft, of course, and even defense. You know, I really like their corner core. J.C. Horn, arguably the best corner in the draft. Rashawn Melvin, Dante Jackson, still. They got, what's his name, A.J. Boye. I mean, sheesh. And Jeremy Chin was very underrated last year.
Oh, yeah, I think Jeremy Chin's really going to break out.
Heavily slept on. Their linebackers are still suspect. I don't know about Perryman being the number 1 inside linebacker. They signed Hassan Reddick, who had a breakout year last year. Let's see what he can add to that linebacker core. Their pass rush is nice. I like their pass rush.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Burns and all of them. But their offense, again, they're going to get McCaffrey back, Christian McCaffrey back. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore did pretty great last year with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. And now Robbie Anderson has that connection from New York back with Sam Darnold. So if Sam Darnold can, show that first-round talent and get a new lease on life here in
Carolina and really break out, the Panthers could really have something special.
For sure.
I mean, when I look at the environment around Darnold and the weapons he has, I mean, I can't see any way for him to fail. You got Robbie Anderson, they drafted Terrence Marshall.
DJ Moore, David Moore. They still got Ian Thomas. They drafted Tommy Tremble, who we really liked out of Notre Dame. They boosted up the O-line. I mean, I really, really like the Panthers this year. But that defense still might be a little too young / suspect enough to give them a 9-8 record. But also the uncertainty of Sam Darnold. Although Darnold is in a better system, better talent, familiar talent, and with a true offensive coach.
Yes. The Panthers have a lot of talent. I think they really, really get a lot better this upcoming season.
Yeah, I really like the Panthers this year. Whether they make the playoffs is yet to be determined with a 9-8 record, but I think they show a lot of potential this year.
No, I think they grow a lot.
One team I think does not grow a lot, although it could, because they're kind of, could you say they're rebuilding or are they kind of reloading?
It's quite frankly for me, it's kind of hard to determine. I know they have a new head coach in Arthur Smith. Pretty much, we're just gonna say who the team is. 4th place is Atlanta Falcons at 2-15 record. I mean, when it comes to them, I really don't know what they're doing. They traded away Julio Jones. They didn't even get a first-round pick out of him.
No.
But with his nagging injuries and his age, I can understand, why they couldn't get a first. I mean, they got what they got. At least it's something better than nothing.
Of course.
Calvin Ridley as the new number 1.
Oh, Ridley's number 1, so they're not going to harm there. They drafted Kyle Pitts in the first round, arguably the best player in the entire draft.
They still have.
He's essentially going to be their number 2. He's a wide receiver in a tight end's bot.
Pretty much. So they still have Hayden Hurst at the tight end position.
You can motion Pitts out wide with Ridley and still have Hayden as a number 1 tight end. So it's not like they're suffering.
And you got a nice hand at running back with Mike Davis. He's a versatile guy in himself. I wouldn't necessarily consider him a number one running back, but he is a guy that you can put in certain situations and he can be able to make plays.
Right. So
Atlanta.
that offense is pretty solid, especially with Matt Ryan still at quarterback.
Yeah, and they got a young offensive line too. The offense, it still looks solid. It still looks good, but the defense, on the other hand, is very, very
suspect. But 2-15 for the Falcons. Is that being a little too harsh? But I don't know.
It is Atlanta, though.
And just so you guys know, all these predictions came from playoffpredictors.com. Shout out to them, I guess.
Yeah.
But we went through this. We went through every team and their schedule and clicked which games we think they're going to win and lose, and that's what came out with the record. So,
yeah, just a little.
Just to give you guys that information, how we came up with the records. NFC East, of course, the NFC East, man. What was the worst division last year? In fact, the team that made the playoffs and won it was the 7-9 football team.
A team that didn't have a name and still don't have a name and won't have a name till next year.
Yes.
But nonetheless, are they number one? No.
Not this year.
Number one is actually the Dallas Cowboys at 10-7. They are getting Dak Prescott back. Ezekiel Elliott's still a great running back. Their receiving corps is one of the best in the league. And Amari Cooper, C.D. Lamb, Michael Gallup. You got pretty decent tight ends. That offensive line's still solid. Pretty much self-explanatory right there. The offense is very flashy.
And I think last year, man, it really spoke a lot about the importance of Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you guys could say, well, the reason why Dak Prescott had this many stats and was this efficient was because they were down because of the horrendous defense. You may be correct, but if you look at the stats, even Dak Prescott had all these great stats, just without that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dak Prescott, I'm going to even eat my words, he's actually becoming a very good quarterback.
I mean, there's a reason why he won. I think he won Rookie of the Year in his rookie year, if I'm not mistaken.
He shouldn't. It should have gone to Zeke, but nonetheless, Dak has grown a lot, and he is the franchise quarterback for the Cowboys, obviously, for a reason.
Yeah, and he got paid big bucks. Big bucks.
As honestly, he kind of should, and he kind of deserves it.
I mean, after what you saw from Dallas and their quarterback situation last year when Dak went down, just pay the man, make sure you do have a quarterback.
Yes.
So I can't blame Dallas there.
Now, was he worth all that? No.
Not at all.
This is Jerry Jones we're talking about. But it was good that they kept him. And I think they do make the playoffs and win the division with Dak back. Yeah, the Cowboys do.
With their suspected defense, though, I do think they did get a little bit better.
Well, the linebacker core is, on paper, fantastic. You're talking Leighton Vander Esch, who, if he can stay healthy, is seriously incredible.
Yeah, same with Jalen Smith.
They drafted Jabril Cox out of LSU in the 4th round. Are you kidding me?
And they got
Keanu Neal, who can play safety but also linebacker.
And their first-round selection,
Micah Parsons. How can we forget that? Holy shit.
Their linebacker core, if they can live up to the hype, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I got to give Dallas credit. That linebacker core, on paper, is probably the best in the league.
Or at least one of the best. I wouldn't say it's the best, but definitely up there.
That's why I said on paper.
It has potential, yeah.
Now, that secondary is still suspect, but they did sign DeMonte Casey, who's a nice, talented defensive back. He's a nice ball hawk.
Yeah.
They got Jordan Lewis still. He's pretty talented. Still talented.
It's still young. It's still suspect. Jordan Lewis.
Did they draft a corner?
Calvin Joseph.
There we go.
Excuse me.
Hell, shit. Just looking at their selections right here, they went completely defense, which is something they needed to do.
The first 6 picks was on defense.
Which is something they needed to do. Their defense was horrendous last year.
That's why they went and grabbed Dan Quinn, who was the almighty guy that led that Legion of Boom defense. Is this going to be the same effect for Dallas? Fuck no.
Probably not immediately, but that defense will significantly be better. And with Dak Prescott coming back, I can definitely see Dallas being a very competitive team and winning the NFC East. But that's not really saying much because NFC East is probably the worst division in the league.
Right, although I think they show a little bit of potential because the teams did grow a lot. Also, the head coach, Mike McCarthy.
He's still suspect.
A little bit, but I think the Cowboys still win 10-7. They win the NFC East. Second place is the New York Football Giants, 8-9. I really like what the Giants did this offseason, and especially in the draft. I like what Joe Judge is doing in his first 2 years. They're getting Barkley back. Their receivers are real nice. Kenny Galladay got a big contract. They drafted Kadarius Toney in the first round. They still got Sterling Shepard, an incredible slot guy. Darius Slayton is going to be a very, very handy depth guy.
Yeah, they still got Evan Ingram at tight end. They signed,
if he can stay healthy.
They signed former Vikings tight end,
Yeah.
Kyle Rove. So he's a very capable backup tight end for Evan Ingram. That defense, I got to admit, that defense on paper looks really good.
Oh, especially the secondary. Julian Love, Jabril Cox. They're giving Xavier McKinney back. James Bradbury, Logan Ryan. Who else?
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson.
They drafted Aaron Robinson.
Wow.
That secondary looks really top-notch. It looks
Wow.
really good on paper. And you saw later into the season, the cornerbacks really showed up.
Yeah.
They played really good. They bought, especially James Bradbury, who's probably one of the most underrated cornerbacks in the league today.
You can see his growth completely. Mm-hmm. But, of course, that D-line's still solid, too. They were able to lock up Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
So, I like what the Giants did this year. I like the potential they got. The question mark is
obviously
Daniel Jones. Mr. Danny Dimes. This is his make-or-break season.
It really is.
And I don't know if he can come out with that franchise potential yet. I don't. He's still a turnover machine. He still fumbles the ball a little too often.
His decision-making is not great at all. I don't see Daniel Jones at all as a franchise quarterback.
But he does have the targets around him. He has a competent head coach now who has done wonders for that Giants football team.
He does have the help around him. He just needs to show up. He needs to make sure, hey, I can lead this team to a possible playoff picture, to a possible NFC East division title. I can help this team lead wins. He needs to have that mentality in his head. He needs to be smarter on the field.
I think 8-9 is pretty solid based off of the uncertainty of Daniel Jones this year. But I do like the Giants.
Yeah. I do think that defense of the Giants, though, really carries them a lot.
Right. But I also think the NFC East stunk is still going to be smelt. You know what I mean? And that will be the same thing said for third place with the Washington football team, 7-10. I like what the football team did. I love their front seven. It is stacked. It reminds me of the 49ers front seven. It's very, very similar.
Chase Young, you have
Jonathan Allen,
Montez Sweat, you have
who else did we miss? Daron Payne, I think.
Yeah.
Who else am I missing?
Matt, what was his name? Iodonis?
Yeah. I think
that's his name.
But, of course, they drafted Jamin Davis in the first round.
Yeah, they did.
So, their front seven's damn solid. Damn good.
And you got
it's a ferocious pass rush.
And you even helped their secondary, too. Landon Collins is going to be coming back. You picked up William Jackson. You got Kendall Fuller there. You got a lot of talent on that defense. I love the football team's defense.
And I like how they upgraded receiver. They got Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. They got that duo back from Ohio State. They're getting Nintendo Gandy Golden back. They're getting, what's his name back? Kelvin Harmon.
Kelvin Harmon, yeah.
So, and of course, Logan Thomas stepped up big time at tight end for being a former quarterback. Although he might have to see time at quarterback this year. But, I don't know. That quarterback position is just too uncertain. Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, he's only good for like 4 or 5 games a season. Or maybe even coming off the bench. But Taylor Heineke looked damn good in that playoff game. He showed a lot of heart. I still don't know if he's a starting guy. Kyle Allen's coming off a very gruesome injury. Again, he has history with Ron Rivera back in Carolina. But I don't know if he's a starting guy. I don't know about that quarterback room in Washington. That's why we have them going 7-10.
Yeah, if Washington put more focus on a younger quarterback, like, say, in the draft, and they drafted a franchise quarterback, then I'd probably put him a lot higher in the rankings. But with Ryan Fitzpatrick and that quarterback and who they have behind him, it just doesn't speak to me.
No.
At all. It doesn't. And same with the Giants. I think the defense for the football team is really going to have to be relied on a lot.
Yeah. But I think a 7-10 record's pretty decent. They went 7-9 last year in Rivera's, I believe, first year.
Yeah, first year.
So he's coming to his second year. An improved team, yes. A much improved team. But, again, I think the quarterback room is just too suspect. But a 7-10 record should give them way to get them a quarterback for the future. Unless maybe they trade for Aaron Rodgers. But, again, I don't see Green Bay trading Aaron Rodgers in the NFC.
No. But next we have, in 4th place, the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-11.
Yeah, they got a new head coach. They fired Doug Peterson. They got a new quarterback in town. Jalen Hurts. I think he shows a lot of potential this year. He showed a little bit of that late last year when he came in for Carson Wentz. But I don't know. That defense is still a little suspect to me, specifically the secondary. Darius Slay didn't look like Darius Slay we know.
No.
They lost Jalen Mills, even though, is that really a big loss?
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, maybe versatility-wise.
I think they still have, what's his name, former Pitt cornerback.
Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
Their D-line's still good. Javon Hargrave, former Steeler. Fletcher Cox.
Now, I know they picked up Anthony Harris in free agency. I think that should help their safety core a lot.
Oh, for sure. Big time. If they can finally use Miles Sanders in the running game as well.
Yeah.
Because he is a game changer. Like, use that man. That's one thing Peterson never did, is he never really used Sanders properly or often.
No, not at all.
So maybe a new head coach can actually get Miles Sanders utilized a little more often, and we could see a little bit more from that offense.
Oh, definitely, because when Miles Sanders got the ball and when he was free, he made plays. He was one of the big factors that helped the Eagles even try to win games.
Yeah, or even beat the Saints.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe he was the first running back in, I forget how many games, to get over 100 yards versus the Saints.
Really?
I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's a stat I did read. I remember watching that game and hearing it in commentary. I could be wrong. My ears might be messed up, but I think that's correct me if I'm wrong. But they also improved the receiving core with Devonta Smith.
Yeah, they actually got a number 1. And I remember saying early in the offseason that if you wanted to see if Hurts was a true quarterback to lead your team, you had to give him a number 1.
Right.
And that's what they did. They got Smith.
But
good for them. They needed Smith.
But like years past, the one thing that's really gonna be the X factor for this Eagles offense is that O-line. Can they stay healthy? They have a laundry list of injuries, and drafting Landon Dickerson didn't help. Honestly,
No.
it didn't.
Talented offensive lineman, great center,
Best center in the draft,
but
but
it's just the injuries. You know, I think, what was his name? Brandon Brooks, their guard.
he went out injury.
He went out
Land
early.
Collins goes out with injury or PED violations.
I think they still have Jason Peters.
I think
I think they still have Jason Peters, and he's fragile as hell.
Andre Dillard, got hurt.
I think, yeah, he
last
got
year,
hurt.
So can their O-line stay healthy? I think that's why we give them a 6-11 record.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see much from the Eagles. I see
Not
them.
this year.
I see them being competitive, but
A little more competitive than what the record shows, yes, but I think that's due to Jalen Hurts
Yeah,
because he's a football player.
of course.
NFC West, the best division in football. First place comes the Rams.
The Los Angeles Rams with a record of 12-5.
I think the addition of Stafford is really going to take them to that next level. I truly do. Now, I know they went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff, but Jared Goff isn't a guy that will lead them to a Super Bowl consistently.
No, and you saw how he was in that Super Bowl game against the Patriots defense.
It's not good. Matthew Stafford has been underrated for so many years, or at least underappreciated, rather. I think underappreciated is the better word.
And that's because he was with the Lions. I mean, when you're with the Lions, no one ever acknowledges you. Let's be honest.
No.
Which was why I feel sorry for Lions fans and Lions players. No one's going to acknowledge them. I guarantee you, no one's even going to remember the name of DeAndre Swift. I guarantee you.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry. That's what I'm just saying. But Matthew Stafford, new lease on life with Los Angeles, new head coach, great receiving core around him. Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson that they signed up.
Cooper Kupp, obviously. I mean, Tyler Higbee, I believe, is still in town.
Yeah.
So, the O-line's still good, right? And Cam Akers is going to be another breakout player this year.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
They got Henderson, I believe, from Memphis.
The offense looks really, really good, really talented. And same with the defense. One of the best defenses in the league.
I mean, led by Aaron Donald and, of course, Jalen Ramsey. Now, they did lose John Johnson and Troy Brown, but Darius Williams is an incredible slot guy, right? So I think him will still be a good playmaker for that Rams secondary. You know, they got Taylor Rapp, who's going to be stepping up this year. I just like the Rams this year, man. I'm kind of in their hype train. And I think Sean McVay is still a very good head coach. I think Stafford's going to take them to that that next level, that that contender, that truthful contender level.
Yeah, now that they have a true, reliable quarterback on the team, yeah, definitely.
And Stafford finally has weapons around him.
I see a lot of potential with this Rams team this season.
Right.
I really do.
And by weapons, I mean a competent coaching staff, because Stafford hasn't had a competent coaching staff since Jim Caldwell. But second place comes the 49ers with a 12-5 record as well. 49ers are back and healthy. If they can stay healthy, they are a great playoff contending team. They truly are.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive coach. Their defense is stacked still. Corners are a little suspect. I don't even know who their number one's going to be this year. I guess Jason Verrett. Secondary is still a little suspect, but that front seven, no question, is one of the better front sevens in the league.
Yeah.
Absolutely stacked. But, Jimmy Garoppolo could be his last year in San Fran because they drafted Trey Lance. I don't know when he's going to see time on the field this year, but, they also drafted that boy from Ohio State, Trey Sermon, in the third round to boost up that rushing game. We all know what the 49ers are like in their running backs.
Oh, yeah.
They just breed running backs, so that's going to boost up the rushing game a lot. The receivers, if they can stay healthy, Deebo Samuel and all them. So the dude they drafted last year, Brandon Ayuk. So, George Kittle, of course, coming back healthy, could be comeback player of the year this year. So, I mean,
yeah, same with the defense.
The Niners are just great.
Yeah, same with the defense. That defense is going to be coming back fully healthy. They're getting Nick Bosa back. You still got Fred Warner. You still got Dre Greenlaw. You got a lot of talented players. It's a stacked-ass defensive line, too.
Seriously, it's an incredible team. So, if they can fully stay healthy, no doubt they're a contending team.
Oh, no doubt.
Third place comes the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, not the Seattle Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals, 10-7. They did improve this year. They got J.J. Watt to pair up with a returning Chandler Jones, who I believe has had the most sacks in the league since 2012.
I believe you're
He
correct
is
on that.
He is so efficient when it comes to pass rush.
Oh, yeah.
And getting J.J. Watt back, if they can both stay healthy, no doubt they'll be a dangerous pairing. Byron Murphy coming into, I believe it will be his second or third year. I think it's his second, if I'm correct. No, it'll be his third year.
No, it'll be his third year.
It will be his third year.
It would be his
Correction,
third year.
Yes.
And you still have Isaiah Simmons coming into his second year. I think he really takes a big leap. He's very versatile, very, very good. Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in the league, was a big playmaker for the Cardinals defense last year.
Right. And that offense, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, they picked up A.J. Green. Just very, very good veteran add for still a pretty young receiving core, because they got Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella that is going to need some veteran boosting.
Yeah.
For sure. So, and they did upgrade the line a little bit, Rodney Hudson and all them. So, I like the Cardinals this year, 10-7. And in fourth place comes the Seattle Seahawks, 9-8. Russell Wilson, according to him, Pete Carroll and them are still good friends. But I don't think they're going to be friends with anyone on defense outside of the obvious, because that defense is going to be their absolute killing machine this year.
Pretty much. I mean, that defense is suspect outside of Bobby Wagner.
The obvious. Bobby Wagner, Carlos Dunlap, and the linebacker, Jamal Adams.
Yeah. He doesn't provide anything in the secondary.
No, he has absolutely been pretty bad in coverage the last 2 years.
Yeah,
he's a linebacker.
Same with their
He adds more to their pass rush than he does to their secondary.
Yeah.
He's a safety.
Yeah.
So-called safety.
You stop interrupting me. I'm trying to talk.
Excuse me. I'm just trying to get my words in.
Well, you need to let me get my words in.
You get your words in.
Who the hell's their number one corner?
Pierre Desir?
That's a solid one. I think he's an underrated corner, but that's just about it. I mean, Trey Flowers, no. Who else they got?
No, that experiment's long and gone, man.
I can't even think who else they got. I mean, their defense is going to be major suspect. The only saving grace is obviously going to be the offense.
But their O-line's still suspect because they kind of improved it.
It's been suspect for 10 years.
Yeah, they kind of improved it. They're getting the running back, Chris Carson. He's going to be really, he's going to be a difference maker for sure. But, them and their running backs still, same thing with the Niners. They just breed running backs.
Yeah,
Any running back that they need that needs to step up, they indeed step up.
Yeah, you just insert him in there and then boom.
Yeah, but we got Russell Wilson. They drafted Dwayne Eskridge, I believe, from Western Michigan in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
To pair with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. They're getting Will Dissly back. That offense is great. I just think that defense is really going to kill them this year. 9-8. But surprisingly, spoiler alert, all teams of the NFC West make the playoffs. That's how stacked this division is.
Yes, all 4 teams. Now that there is an extra wild card spot open, it is possible that all teams in one division can be able to make it. And we predict that the entire NFC West does indeed make the playoffs as wild cards.
So the NFC playoff picture is 1, with the first round bye is obviously the Tampa Bay Bucks. 2 is the Los Angeles Rams. 3 is the Dallas Cowboys. 4 is the Green Bay Packers. Those are your division winners. 5 is the San Francisco 49ers. 6 is the Arizona Cardinals. I'm looking at this because the 3 teams outside of the division winners are NFC West teams. The 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks take the rear in the playoff picture.
So that is the entire NFC playoff picture right there.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Now on to the AFC.
We're going to start with the
picture.
almighty AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers finished first, 11-6.
11-6. We still predict this team to go 11-6. Back when the regular season schedule was released, we predict them at 11-6, and we still do.
Now, a lot of people are saying the Steelers aren't going to win. I don't want to turn this into a rant, by the way, but a lot of people are saying the Steelers aren't going to win the division. They're going to be last. They're going to be 3rd place.
Oh, the Bengals are going to do better.
The Browns are going to take it. The Ravens are going to take it. Hey, you might be correct.
You might be correct, but keep in mind, these same people said the same thing last year.
And we arguably got a little bit better with the addition of Najee Harris, a younger offensive line. Ben finally has weapons, a competent offensive coordinator. I'd honestly say a little bit of a boosted defense just because of how much further our replacements for Steven Nelson and Bud Dupree have come along at younger ages than the guys that were in place of them originally.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And, of course, Mike Tomlin, who hasn't had a losing season. We haven't had a losing season since 2003. I'm just saying. Do we win the division? And our record prediction, yes, we do. Not by far, though, because the Browns come in 2nd place with 11-6 as well. The reason why the Steelers take it over the Browns is because they have a better division and conference opponent record.
Yeah. Well, we actually put the Browns in 2nd place. We predict them with the same record.
Believe me, we were actually contemplating, I don't mean to interrupt you again, we were contemplating putting the Browns over the Steelers and them winning the North just because they truly did improve this year. They got better. Baker Mayfield is improving.
All you got to do is look at the draft class.
Exactly. I honestly think they had the best draft class in the league. And this is the Cleveland Browns we're talking about.
Yeah, they got 2 first-round players.
In the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, God almighty.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and that cornerback. Having a brain fart again. Having all kinds of brain farts.
All kinds of brain farts. Yeah, dudes.
This is not fair. I'm going to be honest. It's not fair. But the Browns are growing, they're getting better, and they will be competitive.
That defense got better. Like you said, they picked up the Joker in the 2nd round. They finally needed a core linebacker. There it is to pair up with Mac Wilson, I believe.
Yeah.
From Alabama. Yeah, Alabama. And Taki, of course.
Mm-hmm. That linebacker core is looking good. Secondary's gotten better. They got John Johnson.
They got Troy Hill.
They picked up Jadeveon Clowney, although, if I'm going to be honest, I don't think he's all that. But, hey.
No, he's overrated.
I'm just adding it in there.
I would put, honestly, it's funny how we're giving them praise, but I'm about to give them a little bit of reality here. The 2 most overrated players in this entire league is Jadeveon Clowney and Odell Beckham Jr., who, by the way, they are getting back Odell. So that might improve the offense. There's been talks for a little while now that Odell actually makes the Browns' offense worse because the Browns' offense was better without Odell.
Yeah. So,
and we all know the rushing attack, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are the best rushing attack in the league. There's no fucking doubt, and their O-line is great.
Of course.
So 11-6 for the Browns.
And just last year we were saying the Browns are the Browns. Now look at us.
Yeah.
We got them going 2nd place. Maybe even winning it, possibly. We don't know.
They could win it.
They could.
I'm not going to lie. They could win it.
Yeah, they could, no doubt.
Seriously.
But in 3rd place,
comes the Baltimore Ravens
at 10-7.
10-7. I think that's a pretty reasonable record for the Ravens. They're still a good team. They're still a winning record team.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's Lamar Jackson. That rushing attack, J.K. Dobbins. You got Gus Edwards.
Is great, and of course Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you added receivers, which is something Lamar needs. You got.
They kind of did. They kind of did.
Yeah, in a way.
You got Mr. 1 Week Wonder over there,
Sammy Watkins, and you got that rookie wide receiver,
Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota, who I really like a lot. But the thing with the Ravens is it's easy to expose them now. It's very easy to expose Lamar Jackson now. Unless Lamar Jackson has truly grown as a quarterback now, which there is still time for him.
Yeah, he's still young.
But unless he improved as a true passer, I think the Ravens' offense is just too easy to expose. You stop that rushing attack, force Lamar to
play quarterback.
And bring the Ravens back.
Yeah, there's no way if you are able to stop the run and Lamar does not grow as a quarterback, like you said, there's no way the Ravens' offense really does anything.
And I gotta say, with that defense, that pass rush, that D-line has kind of gotten worse. They lost Ngakoue, they lost Judon, they have Campbell and Derek Wolfe still, but they're aging. They drafted Jason Oweh in the draft, which, sounds good because they boosted and replaced the D-line. But, statistically, he's not anywhere great. And honestly, if you look at it, he's more of an Instagram workout monster than he is on the football field.
Of course.
Now, could he be a fantastic pass rusher? Possibly. He has the athletic attributes to do so. But until that happens, man, I don't know yet.
Yeah, I just don't know. As of right now, the way I see it when it comes to their pass rush, they're depending on Calais Campbell and Derek Wolfe.
Primarily.
Yeah, they're great players. They're good. They're talented, but they're aging. And let me tell you from experience watching, you don't want an aging pass rusher to lead the pass rush. We should know from a 38-year-old James Harrison. Yeah. You don't want that.
Yeah, you're right. I'm
just saying, okay? But their secondary is solid. That's pretty much the only saving grace.
Their secondary is great. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters still, Tavon Young.
Sean Wade.
Deshaun Elliott, right? So
yeah, they got great.
Secondary is great.
Yeah.
I think 10-7 is pretty reasonable. But is it enough to make the playoffs? To be determined. And fourth place comes the Cincinnati Bengals 5-12. I'm still not 100% certain about Zach Taylor.
Not at all. I don't see much from the guy at all.
No. And I don't know about their defense still. Jesse Bates is a top 5 safety. In fact, he has so much weight on his shoulders, he's still performing at a high level.
Yeah.
Their corners, they got Chidobe Awuzie, our guy Mike Hilton. What's his name?
Trey Waynes.
Right. So, but they're really depending on number 2s to be number 1s. And their linebackers are still suspect, although they're growing. I still like Pratt. I still like Wilson. I still like the one dude they got as well. What's his name? Bailey, I think.
Yeah.
So, and of course, that pass rush is still all right. They lost Carlos Lawson, but replaced him with Trey Hendrickson, all that stuff.
Yeah, so, Sam Hubbard's still a nice player. You know, they got talent, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them.
I don't know if that defense is still all there yet. The offense, on the other hand, if it's healthy, fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be great. Joe Burrow's coming back off an ACL injury. You got Joe Mixon still.
If
he's a great running back.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, fucking T. Higgins. My God.
That's a scary fucking trio right there at the wide receiver position.
That's an incredible trio.
The only negative I'll give the offense is obviously the offensive line. The only thing they did on the offensive line is that they drafted the dude. What was his name? The dude from Clemson,
Jackson Carman.
That's just about it.
But people have even thought about is he a guard at the next level? So I don't know. Maybe the edge is still gonna hurt Burrow. Truthfully.
It's something you don't want for Burrow, man.
I get they wanted the chemistry back with Burrow and Chase. And they even added Thaddeus Moss, if that means anything. The LSU offense is back together, I guess. But O-line over receiver, because you have the receivers.
Yeah, you still have talented receivers.
You ain't got the O-line.
No, you don't. They should have gone Sewell. I'm sorry.
This might be Zach Taylor's last year. But then again, this is the Bengals we're talking about. They held on to Marvin Lewis for how many years?
15 goddamn years.
Even though he led them to the playoffs. Pretty decently, but still. Never got one victory.
That. Anyway, the AFC South.
Titans, 13-4.
They win the division 13-4 right there.
They got Julio Jones to pair with A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry with Ryan Tannehill, with Matt Vrabel still at head coach, who has completely transformed that team around.
Completely.
And I love what they did on defense. It's not anything mind-blowing, but it's enough to improve it from what it was last year. They improved the pass rush with our guy Bud Dupree. He got the bag. And him and
Harold Landry,
I think, will be pretty solid. They got corners in the draft. In the secondary, they picked up Caleb Farley and Elijah Molden in the draft. So, I mean, secondary is pretty better if it can stay healthy. So I like the Titans a lot this year. Their offense is better. They have so many weapons on offense. It's silly, and the defense is a little improved.
It definitely is. I see the Titans being a big sleeper team for possibly the Super Bowl if they live up to it.
Right. Colts, second place, 11-6. I like the Colts this year. They got Carson Wentz and a system he's familiar with because that MVP year he almost had in 2017 is the same head coach.
For the Colts, yeah, he's reunited with Frank Reich.
Yeah, so
they have that communication, they have that connection, and the environment around Carson Wentz. I mean, just like with Sam Darnold with Carolina, I don't see any way he can fail.
Right, and he has an O-line now. He has a running game with Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack, they were signed. He's going to be back healthy after an ACL tear last year. Nyheim Hines is so elusive and versatile. They kept T.Y. Hill, and I think him and Wentz will be pretty solid. I still like Michael Pittman a lot. Great hands. I think they still have Jack Doyle, of course.
I believe you're correct.
Paris Campbell, I believe, from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
So they still got targets on offense.
And that defense, too, last year they really stepped up. And
but
I think
they even improved the D-line.
Yeah, they did.
Because they went D-line 2 straight picks in the draft.
Yeah, most notably Kwity Paye, man.
Yeah, to pair with DeForest Buckner, who it was so easy to tell when he was and wasn't on the field.
Exactly. And that linebacker core is still nice. That secondary is really solid.
Yeah, it's still young, Rocky Sin and Julian Blackman specifically, but they're growing. I like that secondary a lot, and of course Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I see a lot from this with this Colts team. I definitely see Carson Wentz having a new lease on life in Indianapolis.
I'd hope so. I still like Wentz.
Oh yeah.
Number 3, third place comes to Jags, 5-12.
5-12. Trevor Lawrence's first year. Same with Urban Meyer as head coach.
I think it's pretty solid for him in his first year, for Urban Meyer's first year in the NFL.
Yeah, it's nothing special, nothing spectacular, but it's some growth. It's something, positive for the Jags, I'd say. I mean, you have a franchise quarterback now.
Same thing with the Titans and Colts, man. I like the Jags offense. They got a new quarterback. They have, on paper, what should be a really good 1-2 punch with ETN and Robinson. Their receivers are nice. Still, DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, right?
Yeah.
Of course, defense. Nothing on defense pops out except maybe the cornerback core. C.J. Henderson, Sidney Jones. They got Shaquille Griffin in free agency. So, I mean, that's pretty solid. But I think 5-10 is pretty reasonable.
5-12.
I'm so used to 5-10, 5-11.
I know, dude.
They
Listen,
need to change this, bro.
I know.
This is going to take some getting used to.
But with fourth place is the Houston Texans. 0-17. I'm sorry.
I see not one fucking. The only team I see them possibly getting a win against is maybe the Jets. But even the Jets improved. New head coach.
I'm sorry. I don't.
New quarterback.
I'm sorry. I don't see anything from the Houston Texans.
They went 4-12 last year with Bill O'Brien, even though they fired him after week 5, and Deshaun Watson. Watson ain't playing this year.
No, he's
not. Or even if he does, it's not going to be with the Texans. He's going to opt out before he plays. He has made it clear he does not want back in Houston. No. I don't know what's up with him and his legal issues. It kind of sounds fishy. He might be a monster for all we know, but he ain't going to play for the Texans this year. I'm telling you that right now.
No, he's not.
Who's going to be the quarterback? I have no clue.
I know who's going to be the quarterback. It's either going to be Tyrod Taylor, Jeff Driscoll, or Davis Mills, who, by the way, was their first pick in the third round of the draft. I'm sorry. I don't see any one of those guys giving this Texans team a win. They don't really have any targets outside of Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb. I don't even know who the hell their tight end group is. Their running back core is nice with Phillip Lindsay and Mark Ingram. But who the fuck do they got on defense?
Literally,
outside of Justin Reed. They have no pass rush. They only have maybe one linebacker in Zach Cunningham.
Dude, it's so funny and kind of upsetting to see how Bill O'Brien single-handedly ruined that Texans franchise. I mean, they're already mediocre as it was, but they finally came into some prominence with Deshaun Watson, who they got out of Clemson, and they had DeAndre Hopkins, who stepped in for Andre Johnson when he left and retired. And now he single-handedly let them both walk away.
Bro, this man freaking traded pretty much everything for Laramie Tunsil and that wide receiver.
Brandon Cooks?
No, not him. Well, yeah, he traded a first-round pick for him, too. Which, by the way, he didn't even get a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, we know. I'm talking about the receiver he got from the Dolphins with Laramie Tunsil.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
I can't think of the guy's name, man.
I have no idea who you're talking about, but they sent the house for Laramie Tunsil. But nonetheless, the Texans are a dumpster fire,
Texans
man.
fans, I'm sorry.
They are going to.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for you guys.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I think they're gonna draft Sam Howell next year.
Well, I mean, listen, if Deshaun Watson ain't playing this year, and if he's still with the team next year, he ain't going to play with the Texans until he's out of there.
It also depends when this legal stuff gets cleared up, or if it does get cleared up. I don't know.
Even then, he ain't playing for Houston anytime soon.
No. AFC East, Bills win 12-5. Why? Because they're the damn Buffalo Bills, and they got better. Josh Allen is finally coming into an elite status, even though, Stephon Diggs was the big game changer for him. But even then, they added Emmanuel Sanders. They still got Cole Beasley. Fucking the guy that's coming into a second year, drafted in the 4th round last year.
Isaiah McKenzie?
No, Gabriel Davis.
Oh, that's him, yeah.
Right, so, I mean, wow, that offense is still great. And that defense, it's not, as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. Tre'Davious White and all of them. Jermaine Evans is growing still. They boosted the D-line for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bills are still great. Sean McDermott, I think, should have won Coach of the Year last year, but, hey, it took a few years, but, man, you can see how he's transformed this Bills team.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. The Bills are definitely going to be something special.
Second place comes the Miami Dolphins, 9-8. Same thing with the Bills. I think that the Dolphins improved this year. Now, they still don't have a running game. Tua is still very suspect, and I don't know who their backup is.
They got better at wide receivers, though. They signed Will Fuller. They drafted Jalen Waddle. They still have Devontae Parker. They have Preston Williams coming back from injury. They have a lot of, and you still got Mike Gesicki. You have a lot of talented targets for Tua.
Now, on the defense side of the ball, I don't know what's up with Xavier Howard. He wants a new contract, even though he just signed a big contract. But now that he's not the highest paid corner anymore, he wants to be again. So I don't know what the deal is with that. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm paying him. The man had 10 picks last year. Pay the motherfucker. Him and Byron Jones are going to be another great duo if he stays in town.
They already were last year. I can definitely see him continuing to be one of the better dynamic duos at the cornerback position.
If he stays in town, for sure. I don't know. With the uncertainty, though, I think the Dolphins get 9-8. They show some potential, but there's still flaws.
There's definitely still some flaws for the Dolphins, for sure. A lot of talent, but they're not there yet.
No. Third place comes the New England Patriots, 7-10. They went 7-9 last year with Cam Newton, right? And Brian Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer, Jared Stidham, you name it, pretty much.
So
now they did the right thing and they went their way. They went out their way and got a quarterback, Mac Jones.
A pocket passer, which obviously, as we know, is Belichick's claim of the crop, I believe is how you say it.
Right.
But
I'm going to be honest, although the amount of people that Belichick signed in free agency, especially the targets, they signed a lot of people.
They signed a lot. They overpaid for every motherfucker they signed this year. I will say that. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, yeah, they're going to – I understand why they signed two of the top tight ends, but all the talent they also signed, man, it was just overpaid. I mean, they paid Nelson Aguilar how much?
I don't know, and all he's going to do is drop passes.
I mean –
pretty much. I mean, when it comes to the Patriots offense, with Cam Newton starting, or even Mac Jones potentially coming in if Cam Newton doesn't do well, I don't really see the quarterback position doing much this year.
Right. Or let's not forget the defense side of the ball. We still don't know what's up with Stephon Gilmore. Is he going to leave town? That's been rumored for so many months now. They were able to keep J.C. Jackson. That's great. He's a ball hawk, turnover machine.
They did lose Patrick Chung, though. He announced his retirement this offseason.
Right.
So I think they still have, I think it's Jason McCourty, who's a corner, but I wouldn't be surprised if he moves to safety like his brother Devin.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with the Patriots, but 7-10 for now.
Yeah.
And the Jets come in fourth place with a 4-13. They obviously got a change of scenery at head coach.
Robert Slay.
Quarterback, obviously, Zach Wilson. They boosted receiver a little bit, so defense they definitely boosted, but it's not all there yet, especially the secondary in terms. But I think in his first few years, Slay's going to turn the team around. 4-13 not too bad to start off.
No, definitely not.
AFC West. We're going to close out here with the AFC West. The Kansas City Chiefs obviously lead the way with 14-3. They got better this year because they have a much better O-line.
Yes, they do.
They traded for Orlando Brown. They drafted Creed Humphrey. They got Kyle Long out of retirement. They're getting one of their guards back.
That offensive line really got buffed up.
Truly
a lot.
buffed up. And, of course, they got the dude from New England, Joe Tooney.
Yeah.
So that O-line is going to be great. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to see a little bit more as a running back this year.
As he should. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire still has a lot of potential as a runner. I think they should definitely give him the ball, let him run it.
Right.
Run the ball. Patrick Mahomes.
I think one player I really want to see step up for the Chiefs this year is McCole Hardman.
And I think it's bound to happen.
Because honestly, they're going to need a number 2 wide receiver with Watkins out of town. So they're going to need Hardman to step up. Yeah, they still have Hill and Kelsey, but you're going to need a number 2 receiver. Hardman needs to step up to the plate. He has the potential. He has that lightning speed, has great ball skills, just needs to step up to the plate. And that defense is still pretty solid.
Really solid.
I think Sweet's going to step up in his second year. Matthews, one of the better safeties in the league. I don't know what's up with Frank Clark. That's pretty crazy. He could be in prison, man. This man's on a Super Bowl team, could be in prison. But if that gets cleared, that'll be a big break for them and for him, of course.
Yeah.
Keep him paired up with Chris Jones in that D-line still. Linebacker core is still iffy with Anthony Hitchens. I believe is still in there. But, as long as Patrick Mahomes is at quarterback with the Chiefs and that offense is still lightning hot.
Yeah, the Chiefs will be the Chiefs.
Yes.
They'll definitely get first place in the AFC West.
Second place is the Los Angeles Chargers. Herbert's second year, it's going to be really fun to see how much he's progressed after an incredible and record-breaking rookie year.
No doubt. No doubt with a new, young, defensive-minded head coach and Brandon Staley.
Yeah, who was the defensive coach for, I believe, the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Yeah.
So now he's coming into town in Los Angeles.
Yeah, in his first season with
Actually, staying in Los Angeles.
Yeah, with his first season with the Chargers, though, I think they go 10-7.
Yeah.
10-7, not a bad record. It's much improved from last year. And you saw last year with Herbert and the Chargers team, they were competitive. They were trying to win games.
And let's hope they can stay healthy.
Yeah, it's just that and their coaching staff. It was horrible.
Oh, Anthony Lynn was so incompetent. It was so sickening. You felt bad for Herbert. Now, we don't know what this guy's completely made of, but, it can't be as bad as Anthony Lynn.
No.
So,
No.
Chargers go 10-7. Third place comes the Denver Broncos, 9-8. Like last year, man, I was hyped for the Broncos because they have a lot of potential. They are a stacked team. Their receivers are stacked. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. Their running game, they lost Phillip Lindsay, but they picked up our boy Javonte Williams in the second round.
Yeah.
He's going to be an absolute baller for them.
They still have Melvin Gordon. Offensive line's not that bad. It just depends on the quarterback.
Drew Lock.
Or Teddy Bridgewater, but especially Drew Lock, though.
Yeah, Bridgewater, I think, will be the backup. Lock's going to be the starter. They clearly have faith in Lock because there was a time in the draft where they could have selected Justin Fields at number 9. I believe it was number 9. Instead, they took Patrick Surtain. But looking at the defense side of the ball, Patrick Surtain, Kyle Fuller is going to be great.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely great. I think it's to have Bryce Callahan in the slot. And, of course, Justin Simmons at safety.
Yeah.
And they're getting Von Miller back to pair back up with
Bradley Chubb.
Exactly.
You still got a pretty decent linebacker core, man. That defense for the Broncos looks promising, and the talent on the offense looks promising as well. It just depends on if Drew Lock can take his career to the next step. if he can take his play style and his playmaking ability to the next step. That's what really depends on the Broncos season.
Otherwise, we might be looking at, the Broncos should have taken Fields.
Yeah.
Because they could have.
And another failure at quarterback for the Broncos.
For John Elway.
Yeah.
Another one.
It would not be good. They go 9-8.
I think that's why we have them go 9-8. I love the potential they have. I love their roster. I just don't know about the quarterback situation. And we've said this with a few teams in this video.
Yeah.
Like the Dolphins or the football team.
The Saints.
The
Panthers.
So it's, I don't know, man. In fourth place comes the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost said Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders, 7-10. This team was 6-3 at one point, and they finished 8-8.
Yep, didn't make the playoffs. They completely just fell apart.
In fact, they should have been 7-9 because if it wasn't for Greg Williams' stupid blitz call, they wouldn't have won that Jets game.
No, they wouldn't.
But look how they were 6-3 and technically should have finished 7-9. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. And
Can you imagine that?
That's on Gruden. That's on the talent. And even, of course, in the draft, man, Mike Mayock just continues to reach.
Yeah, he's supposed to be this draft guru genius for the Raiders. For the past 3 years, man, they've reached on talent.
Could have had Josh Allen, but they took
Cleveland Farrell.
They could have had. Last year's receiving class, you could have gone either way because so many. It's going to be one of the more historic receiving classes when we look back at it in at least 10 years. But, they took Henry Ruggs, but you could have had Jerry Jeudy, you could have had CeeDee Lamb, guys like that.
Yeah, compared to how CeeDee and Jeudy were.
They're more polished. Ruggs is speed.
Yeah, that's all Ruggs is right now. I'm saying Henry Ruggs and Ruggs at the same time. Ruggs is, all he showcases is speed and nice catching ability, but when it comes to route running and how he is on the field, it's just not there yet.
And, of course, this past year they took fucking Alex Leatherwood, who you could have gotten in the second round.
When Christian Darrisaw was still on the board.
Or even Tevin Jenkins. Because is Colton Miller still their left tackle?
I think he is.
So is Leatherwood being moved to right?
I assume he would. I'm going to be honest. I don't see any difference from this Raiders team from last year to this year. I see no difference.
This might be Derek Carr's last year. And I don't think that's really all the blame on Derek Carr.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
He has talent around him. There's no doubting that. Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs. The receiving core is still pretty solid. Hunting around for all those guys. I think Brian Edwards could still break out. Defense, it's still growing pains.
It's been growing pains ever since.
And the secondary.
It's been growing pains ever since Derek Carr was drafted. Ever since Derek Carr was drafted, their defensive ranks have not been top 15 once. They finished last 2-3 times since Derek Carr joined the freaking Raiders when he was drafted.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that is a statistic I saw earlier today.
Wow.
It's not good, and I don't see any difference. I don't see any growth. They continue to reach on players in the draft when they have better talent literally in the palm of their hand, and Mayock's like, no, let's go after this guy. Mayock and Gruden are not looking too good.
Could they both be on the hot seat?
I think they should. I don't care how much money you gave Gruden. I don't care if Gruden has a Super Bowl under his ring. I don't care if Mayock has a history.
That Super Bowl was not his team. That was Tony Dungy's team.
Of course it was Tony Dungy's team. Of course.
But, yeah, Raiders go 7-10. AFC playoff picture. First place is obviously with the first round bye at the Kansas City Chiefs. Second place is the Tennessee Titans. Third place is the Buffalo Bills. Fourth place is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those are your divisional winners. Coming in the rear comes the Indianapolis Colts, the Cleveland Browns, and take a guess. The Los Angeles Chargers.
The Baltimore Ravens do not make it. The Chargers make it as the number 7 seed. And quite honestly, it's something that I can actually see happen. I really do. I think the Chargers have that much talent. If they can showcase it, if Staley can really benefit this team a lot as their new head coach.
And if guys can stay healthy.
Yes.
That's going to be key. That's always been key for the Chargers for the past decade. Can these guys stay healthy?
Yeah. If that's the case, man, I can see the Chargers take the number 7 seed.
Yes.
I really can.
So, anyway, guys, those are our playoff predictions, man. Give us your guys' playoff predictions and division predictions in the comments below. Very long video. I know we talk a lot, but hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you guys next week for our 53-man roster prediction. And, of course, get your merch, SteelYinjers.com, for your SteelTwins, Just Blaze 4 and 2, and hashtag GrossGang merchandise.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace!